Mobile Devices and Client-Side Virtualization, Part 2. In this nugget, we are going to show you how to support a device that you might not own or normally use. Technicians are often expected to do such things. If you don't have an iPhone or iPad to use as you read through the sections, you can still follow along paying careful attention to the screenshots taken on each device. Learning to use an iOS device is fun, and supporting one equally easy. Most of the settings you need to know to support an iOS device are contained in the Settings app, which you can find in the home screen. Basically, you can tap the Settings app and search through its menus and submenus until you find what you need. A mobile device can contain up to 4 antennas: Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, and cellular. The device uses a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or cellular antenna to connect to each type of network, and settings on the device allow you to enable or disable each antenna. One setting, called airplane mode, disables all three antennas so that the device can neither transmit nor receive signals. In the CompTIA Plus 220802 exam, it expects you to know how to configure a Wi-Fi, cellular data, and Bluetooth connection using the iOS and Android operating system. To enable a cellular network or cellular data network connection, you should tap Settings, General, then Network. And then on the network screen, as you can see on 10-17, enable the cellular data connection. The device used in the figure supports 3G. When you enable 3G, data transmissions are definitely much faster. At the time of recording, there is now 4G being developed. Also notice that in figure 10-17A, you can enable or disable data roaming. Using data roaming might mean additional charges if you are in a foreign country. Using a personal computer or mobile device, email can be managed in one of two ways. Use a browser. Using a browser to go to the website of your email provider and manage your email on the website. In this situation, your email is never downloaded to your computer or mobile device, and your message remain on the email server until you delete them. An email client such as the Microsoft Outlook can be installed on your personal computer, or you can use an email app on your mobile device. The client or app can either download email messages to your device using the POP protocol and can manage email on the server using the IMAP protocol. When the client or app downloads the email, you can configure the server to continue to store the email on the server for later use, or delete the email from the server. The built-in Mail app for managing email is available on smartphones and tablets. To protect your data and apps in the event your mobile device is destroyed, lost, or stolen, you will want to keep backups of this content. For Apple devices, you can back up data, iOS settings, email, contacts, even wallpapers, and multimedia contents, including photos, music, videos, by syncing this content using iTunes or iCloud. iTunes backs up to your computer, and iCloud backs up to storage on the Apple website at www.icloud.com. In the following subsections, you learn to use both iTunes and iCloud to back up your data and to use iTunes to install iOS updates and patches. Another option for syncing content on your Apple device is to use iCloud storage. You can set up a free iCloud account to hold all your apps, music, movies, videos, books, and iTunes course curriculum, and push all of this content to any iOS device you have. The first 5 gig of storage is free. iCloud syncing happens every day. The screen is locked and the device is connected to a cellular or Wi-Fi network and is plugged into an electrical outlet, such as when you recharge your iPhone while you sleep. To configure iCloud, tap Settings, then iCloud. Using the iCloud screen found in figure 10-31 for an iPad screen, you can turn on or off items to sync to iCloud. These items include mail, contacts, calendars, and so forth. Note that iCloud does not back up movies, podcasts, audiobooks, photos that came from your computer, and music and TV shows not purchased from the iTunes Store. You can, however, sync these items using iTunes. Smartphones and tablets are with us everywhere, and most of us keep much personal and professional information on our smartphones. Here's a list of what might be stored on a smartphone and would be at risk if the phone is lost, stolen, or damaged. information such as your applications, emails, calendars, voicemail contacts, videos and photos of your family, network connection settings. To protect this data, consider using passcode locks, locator applications, and remote wipes discussed in the part of this chapter. To protect your device in case it is stolen, you can set a passcode. For iOS device, tap Settings, General, Passcode Lock, turn passcode on, and enter a 4-digit code. When you wake up your iPhone or iPad, you must enter the passcode to proceed. Notice that you can tap emergency call to bypass entering the passcode. This feature takes you to the keypad to make call and protects you in the event you need to make an emergency call and don't want to take the time to enter your passcode. You can set the iOS to erase your data as well if it receives 10 failed logins or incorrect attempts at entering the passcode. This setting protects you from someone repeatedly guessing until she finally enters the correct passcode. After you've set a passcode, to set a device to erase data, tap Settings, General, Passcode Lock. You are required to enter your passcode to proceed. On the passcode lock screen, you can tap Erase Data to turn it on and then tap Erase Data to turn it on, and of course tap Enable as the last thing to do. To cover the possibility that you might one day lose your mobile device, you can configure it to send its position to you. To do so, use the iCloud setting to turn on Find My iPhone or Find My iPad. How to do that will be covered later on this chapter. If you lose your device, of course, you can do the following as stated in the slide. Common problems with iOS devices include the touchscreen not working properly, iOS settings cannot be changed, buttons don't work, or an app does not work. For the iPhone or iPad, which use the iOS and a capacitive touchscreen, recall that Apple says that the screen does not get out of alignment unless there is a hardware problem. Here are some tips to try when a touchscreen is giving you problems. You can restart the phone, reset the phone, update the iOS operating system itself. You can reset all the settings or erase the settings as well. Restore the phone from a original factory setting or recover the device, and this will wipe out the entire settings and of course including your data as well. For iPhones and iPads, you can sometimes solve an apparent touchscreen alignment problems or other problems with the iOS by restarting, resetting, updating, or restoring the device. Try the first step that follows, and if that does not solve the problem, move on to the next. The steps are ordered so as to solve the problem while making the least changes to the system, otherwise known as the least intrusive solution. After you try one step, check to see if the problem is solved before you move on to the next. It is not always possible to give specific step-by-step directions similar to those given for the iOS. In this part of the chapter, you learn about general procedures you can follow to support an Android device. When you are assigned responsibility for supplying an Android device, begin with a user guide for the device, which you can download from the device manufacturer's website. Most of us rarely follow step-by-step directions when learning to use a new device, unless when all else fails, read the direction. This part of the chapter can give you an idea of what to look for on an Android device. You can likely figure out the steps for yourself from there on. To configure settings on the Android device, use the Settings app, which can always be found in the App Launcher. For many Android phones, the App Launcher is an app in the dock at the bottom of the screen, as you can see. Use it to access all installed apps, including the Settings app. For the many Android tablets available out there, the App Launcher is the app's icon in the upper right corner of the screen, as shown here as well in figure 10-41. Devices also have other methods that lead to the Settings app. For Android phones, tap the menu button and tap Settings. For the tablet screen, that was shown in the previous slide, tap the Device Admin shortcut on the home screen. Figure 10-42 here, as shown, shows the settings screen for one Android tablet. To configure network connections using the settings screen, tap Wireless and Networks, as shown. Use the Wireless and Networks screen to change these network settings. Figure 10-45 shows the top and bottom of the wireless and network settings screens on an Android phone. To view settings for the cellular network connection, tap Mobile Networks. Some systems offer the option on this screen to switch on or off the cellular data connection. This system does not. For this system, if you want to turn off cellular data and use Wi-Fi for data transmission, first turn on airplane mode, which disables cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, and then enable Wi-Fi. The advantage of disabling cellular data and using Wi-Fi for data transmission is data transmission over Wi-Fi are not charged against your cellular data subscription plan with your carrier. Also, Wi-Fi is generally faster than most cellular connections. Because Google owns Gmail, Google makes it very easy to configure a Gmail account on an Android device. To set up a Gmail account, tap the Gmail app on the home screen and enter your email and account password. If you don't see this app on your home screen, tap the app launcher and then tap Gmail. The app then gives you the opportunity to sync books, calendars, contacts, Gmails, Google Photos with Google. Make your selection and tap Done. If you want to later change what type of data is synced, go to the Settings app, tap Accounts and Sync, and select your Gmail account. As you can see here, the data and synchronization screen as discussed from a previous slide appears right here on this slide. If an Android device has a slot for a smart card, for example an SD card slot, or a USB port, most likely the manufacturer has pre-installed an app to back up your data to the smart card or USB flash drive. Restoring data and settings from backup can be quite a production because one app backs all data on the Android device. Basically, to go wherever you have synced or backed up an online account, an app store, an SD card, a USB flash drive, or any other locations within the local host and retrieve the contents from each location. The key to making this restoration process flow smoothly is to use apps with reliable syncing capabilities in both directions. Updates to the Android OS are automatically pushed to the device from the manufacturer. Because each manufacturer maintains its own version of Android, these updates might not come at the same time Google announces a major update. When the device receives notice of an update, it displays a message asking permission to install the update. You can also manually check for updates at the time. To do so, go to the Settings app and tap About Tablet or About Phone. On the About screen, tap System Updates. The device turns to the manufacturer's website for information and reports updates available. Follow the directions on screen to install these updates. The Android OS includes some security features and relies on third-party applications for other security needs, as you can see here. Follow these general tips to solve problems with Android devices. For more specific instructions, search the websites for the device manufacturer. Remember, if you find you are unable to do all you want to do with your Android devices, such as install a powerful app or powerful game or download the latest Android release before your device manufacturer makes it available, you can root your device. Rooting is a process of obtaining root or administrator privileges to an Android device, which then gives you access to the entire file systems. In this case, includes both folders and files, and all commands and features. To root a device, you download and use a third-party software. The process takes time and might even involve restoring the device to a factory state. The process of rooting might corrupt the OS, and after the device is rooted, installed apps that require root access can corrupt the OS as well. For some manufacturers, rooting will void your warranty, and some carriers refuse to provide technical support for a rooted device. Avoid it if you can. If you decide to root a device, do so with caution. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.